Exclusive contract with Feilu Novel Network Novel. De Qin. Fusion of the Holy Lord, Ancestral Dragon surprisingly letting us supervise the country crossing the Great Qin Dynasty and becoming the 9th son of the Ancestral Dragon, Ying Ziye. At the beginning, awaken the national transportation system, integrate the Fire Demon Lord, control the 9 Dark Shadow armies, and activate the power of 12 talismans. Coincidentally, the Sword Saint Gai Nie defected, and the Ancestral Dragon was enraged. Ying Ziye forcefully stepped out of the Forbidden City and easily killed Gai Niezhen. So Zulong decided to let Ying Ziye supervise the country on his behalf, shocking the world. And this is just the beginning. Kill Zhao Gao and Su Fu. The fortune of the Great Qin Dynasty is rising, and gift undead phoenix blood. Kill corrupt Confucian scholars. The fortune of the Great Qin Dynasty has risen, and we will gift 100 kilograms of high-quality corn seeds and 100 acres of potatoes and sweet potatoes. Kill Xiang Yu and Lu Bang. The fortunes of the Great Qin Dynasty have risen, giving away printing techniques and hybrid rice. Fu Su said, "Father, my 9th brother is crazy. He has killed many Confucian scholars. Anti-Qin forces. Ying Zheng, please don't let the 9th prince supervise the country anymore. We surrender. Ying Zheng. I have appointed you to oversee the country, but have you rebuilt the Great Qin?" Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001 Forbidden Prince, start by merging with the Holy Lord. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 001 Forbidden Prince, start by merging with the Holy Lord. The Great Qin Empire. Xianyang Imperial City. A crescent moon swept over the exquisite corner tower, casting a hazy yellow light on the courtyard below the high wall. Walking along the swaying ancient green lamps on the roadside, it is a cold and quiet ancient palace. The palace of Nuoda is quiet and somewhat eerie. A young man dressed in a goose-yellow robe with golden edges, like a flawless jade cast into a jade figure, stood quietly by the window at this moment. The young man is the 9th prince of the Great Qin Empire. Ying Ziye. It is rumored that Ying Ziye was born on the day of his birth. A terrifying and evil vision appeared over Xianyang, as if a demonic flame from the 9 heavens hell was burning in the sky. Ying Ziye's mother passed away after giving birth to Ying Ziye due to difficult childbirth. And Ying Ziye herself was born with blood pupils, and even her skin appeared as eerie pale green scales. People with ulterior motives exaggerate, saying that the 9th son of Ancestral Dragon Ying Zheng is a monster, a punishment given by heaven to this tyrant, and an unknown demon to the Qin. So under the instruction of Ying Zheng, Ying Ziye has been living in a forbidden palace specially designed for him since childhood. Under the orders of the first emperor, except for some slaves and a few special beings, almost no one was able to see Ying Ziye. Over time, this 9th prince of the Great Qin was gradually forgotten. Becoming a member of the Great Qin. Taboos. The Great Qin Empire. The 9th prince. Ying Ziye. Memories flooded into Ying Ziye's brain like a cold tide, and the tearing pain made him feel a bit uncomfortable. Is this a time travel for me? And became the 9th son of Ying Zheng, the ancestor of the Great Qin Empire. Ying Ziye was a bit confused, but it took him a while to calm down. He is not a person from this world, just because in a game, he cursed his teammates for half an hour while hanging up in the spring, but was directly hacked by his angry teammates along the internet cable. Unexpectedly, by chance, I traveled to the world of De Qin. I sorted out some messy memories and clarified my current situation. Ying Ziye looked out of Xiang's window, and a deep gaze appeared in the bloodstained pupils. Think carefully. Worried. Yes, as a history enthusiast, Ying Ziye was very clear about the current turbulent situation of the Great Qin Dynasty. During the reign of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, who was the 6th generation of the Great Qin Dynasty, he led his troops eastward to conquer the 6 kingdoms and achieve his dream of unification. Now, on the surface, it looks magnificent and has endless scenery. But in reality, there are remnants of the 6 kingdoms secretly stationed troops and horses ready to restore the country at any time, with 100 schools of thought eager to stir up, and even the Xiongnu Baiwe lurking outside. It can be said that there are internal and external troubles. Moreover, Ying Ziye knew that the current glory of the Great Qin Dynasty was only attributed to his own father, the founding emperor Ying Zheng. My own father emperor possesses the dominance and pressure that can intimidate all anti-Qin forces. But once Ying Zheng, the eternal emperor, passes away, the Great Qin will instantly fall apart and fall into pieces. From the timeline, it has only been a year or 2 since all of this happened. At that time, Ying Zheng will die on the sand dunes during the 5th Eastern Tour, and Zhao Gao will collude with Li Si to tamper with the imperial edict, grant the death of Fu Su, and support the puppet emperor Hu Hai to ascend to power. Even the famous general of the Qin dynasty, Meng Tian, was not spared from a tragic death in prison. After Hu Hai was forced to rise to power, he became even more debauched, foolish, and slanderous, crazily slaughtering people with royal bloodline surnamed Ying. Car cracked, waist cut, and body exposed in the market, a group of princes and princesses died one by one in tragedy. Now that I am the 9th prince of the Great Qin, I will inevitably be killed by Hu Hai. What should I do? Ying Ziye felt a bit confused. Escape. But where can I escape? You should know that besides Zhao Gao Hu Hai, there are also Xiang Yu and Lu Bang outside. Xiang Yu was determined to restore the country and dominate the country, and he wished for Ying Zheng and his descendants to be torn apart. As for Lu Bang, he is the reliable 6th, and the old Yin is more than one. Mad, you're dead both vertically and horizontally. No, being hacked to death by someone along the internet cable is already enough to make me feel frustrated. I absolutely can't just sit and wait for death like this. Ying Ziye secretly said that there is still a road ahead of him now. That is to leave the Forbidden City and compete with Fusu and Hu Hai for the throne of the Great Qin, relying on oneself to change the historical trajectory of the Great Qin. However, Fusu has the support of the 3 clans of Mengshi Bai in Meixian County and the powerful Meng clan, as well as the support of 100 Confucian scholars. Hu Hai, on the other hand, had the support of Zhao Gao, who controlled the great weapon of the trap, and the imperial prime minister Li Si. And I'm afraid no one remembers my forbidden prince at this moment. Without money or power, and without any martial arts experts under my command, why compete with them? Ding, it has been detected that the fusion degree of the host's soul has increased. Now facing numerous difficulties, the system of the eternal Great Qin national transportation has begun. In system binding, 1%. 2%. 99%, system binding successful. Suddenly, a cold mechanical synthesized sound echoed through Ying Ziye's mind like a brilliant starlight flashing across the night sky. System. The essential benefits for travelers have finally arrived. Ying Ziye's heart was filled with joy as his system finally awakened. What are the functions of the Eternal Qin National Transportation System? Ying Ziye asked the system with excitement. This system binds the host with the Great Qin Empire, and the prosperity of the Great Qin Empire allows the host to receive generous rewards. However, if the prosperity of the Great Qin Empire decreases or even perishes, the host will also weaken and perish. The system will detect national luck, filter and allow the host to inherit fusion templates, randomly publish system tasks, and the host can choose to complete and obtain rewards and merit points. The stronger the fortune of the Great Qin Dynasty, the richer the rewards the host receives, the more difficult it is to complete tasks, the higher the merit points the host receives. Note: merit points can be exchanged for various heavenly techniques, weapons, spiritual pills, various heavenly and earthly treasures, as well as peerless powerful characters. Bull. This system is absolutely amazing. Upon hearing the system's prompt sound, Ying Ziye's eyes lit up. Enlightenment of martial arts, weapons, spiritual pills, and strong ones. If there were a system to provide these things, would have the capital to compete for the throne with Hu Hai of Fushu. Ding, the testing host is now in poverty except for its prestigious status. We have prepared a beginner's gift package for the host. Do you want to open it? 1 poor and 2 poor. Upon hearing the system's words, a black line appeared on Ying Ziye's face, which then turned into a helpless bitter smile. Open the beginner's gift pack. Ying Ziye didn't hesitate either, and he was also looking forward to what the newbie gift package of the system would reward him with. Ding, the beginner gift package is currently being opened. The host has natural blood pupils and is currently in the Forbidden Palace. The character template is being screened. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the fusible character. Fire Demon Lord. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining one of the 12 talismans. The Bull Curse and the Rabbit Curse. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the General Ninja Mask and obtaining the summoning qualification for the Ninja Regiment of the Shadow Corps. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the lifelong cultivation of the leader of the Wind and Cloud World Association, the white-haired Xiongba. Obtaining the Diamond Immortal Divine Skill is a complete realization. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Supreme Sword Technique. 10,000 swords returning to the sect. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the techniques. Tian Shuang Fist, Fengshen Leg, Paiyun Palm, Sanfenshen Finger, Sanfen Gui Yuan Qi. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Black Qi Wizard Blade Dragon Sitting Down Dark Assassins. Gane, 1, Chui. Note. After the host merges the fused character, all abilities, techniques, and skills of the fused character will be inherited. Please choose whether to immediately merge the Fire Demon Lord. Sleeping Trough, Lying Trough, this is so amazing. At this moment, Ying Ziye's face showed a look of surprise and shock, and the reward was too rich for Nima. The Fire Demon Holy Master, which is the big boss in the adventure of CL, has 7 brothers and sisters who are also ancient demons. They have the powerful and terrifying Fire Demon Qi, and are also the masters of the 12 spells. They can summon the horrible existence of the Dark Shadow Corps. Now, I can actually integrate the template of the Holy Lord. System, immediately merge with the Fire Demon Lord. Ying Ziye did not hesitate at all. Now, he urgently needs strong strength to break free from the embarrassing situation in front of him and intimidate all elements that are not conducive to him. After the sound of Ying Ziye's night talk fell, a fierce crimson flame filled her eyes, with green and yellow skin and a muscular dragon head, appeared on Ying Ziye's body. Subsequently, the dragon-shaped body penetrated into Ying Ziye's body, causing him to tremble all over. A fierce and majestic aura, containing a dark and killing aura, merged into his extraordinary meridians like the vast sea, and finally merged into the elixir field. At this moment, no one knows. In the Forbidden Palace of the Great Qin Dynasty, a young prince fused with the Fire Demon Lord. No one knows about this forgotten prince. It will be given to the Qin. What a tremor it brings. Begging for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Looking for a monthly pass. Seeking a reward Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 002 Terrifying internal power. Black Shadow Core. Summon Gane Wencui. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 002 Terrifying internal power. Black Shadow Core. Summon Gane Wencui. For a long time, Ying Ziye finally suppressed the fierce aura from the Holy Lord in his body, and the bulging veins on his body disappeared. Boom. Ying Ziye waved casually, and a scorching and terrifying demon flame appeared on top of his fist. During the wave, there was a sound of breaking through the air, as if it could shatter all obstacles. Is this the power of the Lord? Ying Ziye looked at his fist. Previously, except for his face, there were strange green scales all over his body, but now they have disappeared and returned to normal. Due to restrictions on the terrain of the Forbidden Palace, it is not possible to use it by oneself. But Ying Ziye could still feel the terrifying power within himself. Ding, congratulations on the successful fusion of the host with the Holy Lord. Holy Lord fusion. 40%, host realm. Master's early stage. Explanation. This is a world mainly focused on internal power cultivation, with numerous martial arts masters in the martial arts world. The martial arts realm is divided from low to high into non-mainstream, tertiary, secondary, first. Class, acquired, innate, master, great master, heavenly inhuman, and shattered void. Ying Ziye looked at the panel provided by the system and couldn't help but be surprised. After fusing his memories, he learned that this was a world full of mystery, and even more so, he knew that this world could cultivate martial arts. As long as you step into the realm of nurture. Each realm is divided into 4 stages. Front, middle, back, and perfect. The climb along the path of martial arts is difficult to climb to the sky. The acquired realm is to be able to defeat 10 enemies with 1 enemy, and to step into the innate realm with 1 enemy without hesitation. If one can reach the realm of a great master, they can establish a sect, defend one side, and even become guests of countless forces, with a high status. As for the realm of the great master, it is easy to gather the elixir field, with the ability to move mountains with 1 sword, cut off rivers and divide waters, and freely take the enemy's head among the armies. The strong in the realm of the great master are absolute strategic deterrence weapons in the empire and any force. All factions that can have powerful masters at the level of great masters are top-notch. As far as Ying Ziye knows, the Great Qin Empire, which ruled the world, had several powerful masters with explosive military strength. Going further up is the realm of heaven and man, who can rely on their internal power to soar and suppress a country with their strength. However, in Ying Ziye's memory, it seems that the Great Qin Empire never had such a strong person. I don't know if there will be so many old monsters from the hidden world who can reach this level. As for the higher shattered void realm, Ying Ziye pursed his lips, wondering if there was such a realm, perhaps it was fabricated. Looking at his own strength panel, Ying Ziye didn't expect it. I have never practiced at all, and only achieved a fusion degree of 40% with the Holy Lord, which actually gave me the martial arts strength of the master in the early stage. In this world without magic and wizards, the abilities possessed by the Holy Lord are already a bug. But you should know that your newbie gift package is not just about merging the Holy Lord as a reward. Looking at the newbie gift package reward displayed on the panel, a crazy idea appeared in Ying Ziye's heart. The strong are always strong. Since I have already obtained the bug-like Holy Lord magic chi. So, as long as you can reach the top of this world in your internal power, that's it. Who is calling invincible? Who dares to say unbeaten? Only he will win. Ziye alone. Ding, has the heart of the host strong been detected? Has it integrated with the lifelong cultivation of the leader of the Wind and Cloud World Association, the white-hair hero? Fusion. In an instant, the wind and clouds within the Xianyang King's city were turbulent, with thunder and lightning roaring out of thin air. A pure internal force shimmering with white light and containing endless power entered Ying Ziye's body. Ying Ziye was as if soaking himself in a warm and misty internal spiritual liquid, and his breath suddenly surged. At the same time, in Ying Ziye's mind, endless insights into martial arts techniques appeared, including newly acquired techniques such as Tian Shuang Fist, Fengshen Leg, Paiyun Palm, San Funshan Finger, and San Fen Gui Yuan Qi, all of which were gifts from the powerful internal power. In an instant, Ying Ziye's martial arts cultivation reached a terrifying level. There was no problem with the internal power gift of the system. Ying Ziye opened his eyes, his blood color faded away, and he stood up from the middle of the hall. Host Realm. Mid-stage of the Great Master. After integrating the lifelong cultivation of the Holy Lord and the Tyrant, Ying Ziye's strength reached the mid-stage of the Grand Master like riding a rocket. In this case, even in the world of the powerful Qin Dynasty, one's own strength can be considered an absolutely terrifying existence. If Fusu and Hu Hai knew about it, they wouldn't be surprised. Ying Ziye still has some expectations. Having fused with the Holy Lord and obtained the mask of General Nijia, one should be able to summon the Shadow Core. The Holy Lord is able to summon the Shadow Core by absorbing the dark power of General Nika's mask. Ying Ziye took out the Nijia mask from the system and without any hesitation, put it on his face. There was a burning sensation coming from her face, and the Nijia mask completely integrated into Ying Ziye's face, showing no signs of anything unusual. Although this mask is dark, facing the fusion of the Holy Lord and Ying Ziye, it is the presence of the Great Witch and the Little Witch. Without any resistance, he was fused and absorbed into the dark energy. Come out, Black Shadow Core. As Ying Ziye's thoughts fell. Shwa. 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 Red pupils appeared around Ying Ziye one by one. These ninjas were all dressed in black and equipped with weapons such as swords, samurai swords, ninja darts, rope hooks, claws, and clubs. Wherever there is a shadow, there are them, and they are absolutely loyal to Ying Ziye. They will not die and exist tirelessly. This is the ninja group with the most appearances in the Shadow Core, known as the Hexagonal Warriors Ninja Group. Black Shadow Core. The number of summonable ninjas that the host can summon is limited by their strength. Currently, the host is in the middle stage of the Grand Master, and the maximum number of summonable ninjas is 500. Summoning requires the consumption of merit points, and the price of soldiers in different levels of core varies. Due to the limitation of the host's strength, all ninja soldiers are in the mid-innate stage. As the host's strength increases, the strength of the army also increases. Looking at the prompt, Ying Ziye nodded in satisfaction. You should know, there are still 8 Shadow Core like the Ninja Core. Gone, 1, Chui. Ying Ziye's voice fell, and 3 subordinates carrying a dark aura appeared in the palace. Orange skin, red-orange hair, black clothing. Gane held a 3-section stick in his hand that could be transformed into a 6-foot stick, with the effect of water. One holds a hand sword with a shape similar to a windmill and a swirling blade, which has a smoke effect. Chui has a huge grey battle hammer with a flame effect. Gane, 1, Chui, have you met your master? The 3 of them knelt down directly at Ying Ziye. The characters summoned by the system are unconditionally loyal to Ying Ziye. Ding, Gane, 1, and Chui are in the middle stage of the Grand Master's realm and can improve with the increase of the host's strength. Looking at Gane, Wencui and the 3 of them, Ying Ziye's mind remembered Afanlesu and Zhao, the strongest laborers in the adventures of CL. If given the opportunity, one must also summon the mountain. Add Afu. Working in a group of 4 can be considered neat. Ying Ziye withdrew his thoughts, and the ninja group and Gane Wencui disappeared into the shadows and dispersed. System. Eternal Qin National Transportation System, Host. Ying Ziye, Identity. 9th Prince, Holy Lord. Realm. Mid-stage of the Great Master. Subordinates. Gane, 1, Chui, Middle Master, Black Shadow Core. Ninja Core, 500 people, mid-innate, 12 Charms. Bull Charm, Infinite Power, Rabbit Charm, Super Speed, Practice. 10,000 swords returning to the sect, Perception level 0%, 3 points returning to the Yuan Qi, Perfection, Vajra Immortal Skill, Perfection, Heavenly Frost Fist, Perfection, Wind God Leg, Perfection, Paiyun Palm, Perfection, 3 points Divine Finger, Perfection. Looking at the system panel, both in terms of strength and influence, I have gone from having nothing just now to being terrifying now. This somewhat dreamy feeling made Ying Ziye's mind wander for a moment, but the prompt sound from the system came next. But it made Ying Ziye's calm and profound face suddenly change color. Ding, detect the defection of the Great Qin Sword Saint Gai Nie. New book release. Seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking monthly tickets, seeking rewards Qingming outing in happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 003, Sword Saint defected. Zulong is furious. Just let me come. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 003, Sword Saint defected. Zulong is furious. Let me protect the Great Qin for eternity. At this moment, in the city of Xianyang, although there is a crescent moon hanging in the night sky, the cold wind at night still howls a bit cold and piercing. Within the main hall of Zhangtai Palace, several eunuchs holding lamps were holding dim candlelight lights, with flames swirling and adding a touch of brilliance to the main hall. Cough. 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 A sandalwood table with a simple and fragrant color, covered in bamboo slips and memorials. A man dressed in a black robe with a dignified expression sat upright, his expression focused on handling government affairs. This man with an extraordinary appearance and unparalleled authority is the most esteemed master of the Great Qin Empire. First Emperor, Ying Zheng. Accompanied by coughing sounds, Ying Zheng put down the thick memorials in his hand. Exhausted, he reached out and rubbed his temples. Your Majesty, it's getting late, it's better to rest earlier. Seeing Ying Zheng's exhausted appearance, Zhao Gao, dressed in a black and red official robe, walked up to Zhangtai Palace and said to Ying Zheng with a concerned expression. Upon hearing Zhao Gao's words, Ying Zheng had no intention of getting up and preparing to return to the palace to sleep. But he slowly looked up at the pattering moonlight outside the window, then closed his eyes and rested slightly to refresh himself. Too many things have happened recently, based on the memorials presented by the officials in recent days. The newly unified empire has encountered many problems. The Xiongnu in the north and the Baiyue in the south from overseas are eyeing the Great Qin Empire, although they dare not cross the border, they are constantly provoking with small actions. The remaining sins of the 6 countries within the territory will not die, and all the schools of thought are harboring evil intentions and heading towards anti-Qin. There are also droughts, epidemics, natural and man-made disasters. The common people are already suffering unbearably from this. And the most serious thing is, Ying Zheng clearly felt that his body was becoming increasingly weak. The 4th eastward tour seems to be on the agenda. Who should supervise the country this time? At this moment, the first emperor in Chinese history and the greatest emperor of all ages has already felt a sense of urgency in his heart. I have not yet established a crown prince, not because I am addicted to imperial power and unwilling to let go, but because I am among all my descendants. Ying Zheng couldn't find a qualified heir. Changgongzi Fusu admired Confucianism, was indecisive and lacked courage, and had a mind full of the principles of benevolence, righteousness, and morality, as well as the 5 constants. He also adhered to the Confucian doctrine of sacrificing one's army without fighting, and opposed war, which I will not mention for now. What disappointed Ying Zheng the most was that Fusu had always wanted to advise him to abolish the current county system and restore the ancient system of enfeoffment. What kind of corrupt Confucianists do they really suffer from? They are extremely corrupt. How could Ying Zheng allow such behavior that would cause the Great Qin to regress or even lead to another division? As for Hu Hai, he has a rebellious personality, is addicted to playing, and is even more young, unable to bear great responsibilities. In this way, this vast empire couldn't find a qualified heir for a while. Alas, if Dong'er is still alive and midnight has not become a taboo, perhaps. The faces of Ying Ziye and a graceful and luxurious woman appeared in Ying Zheng's mind. At this moment, Ying Zheng felt a sense of longing and sighing in his heart. Suddenly, he felt a little restless and wanted to go to the Forbidden Palace to see Yi for a while. After all, no matter how taboo it is, midnight is also the imperial son of one's own bloodline, the elder brother of Yin Man. Your Majesty, Lord Li Si, the left Prime Minister, requests to see you. Suddenly, the sound from the eunuch guarding the gate interrupted Ying Zheng's thoughts. Xian. Ying Zheng heard the eunuch's words. I couldn't help but have some doubts in my heart. Lise. I came to Zhangtai Palace to see you so late. What's going on? And Zhao Gao, the commander of the Zhongche prefecture, dressed in a red robe, stood by Ying Zheng's side. After hearing these words, a strange expression flashed through the monster's eyes. Lise. Why is this guy coming so late at night? In no time. Li Si walked into the Zhangtai Palace. The rain-drenched back illustrates how hastily this prime minister, who is below one person and above 10,000 people, arrived. Your Majesty, Gane has defected. General Meng Tian has led 300 elite Qin soldiers to capture outside Xianying city. Li Si knelt down directly at Ying Zheng when he entered the palace, and after speaking, he trembled and dared not look up. What are you saying? Upon hearing Li Si's words, Ying Zheng stood up with his eyes closed. The dangerous aura of the dormant black dragon choosing to devour someone flashed through my eyes, making me shudder. The majestic and solemn atmosphere instantly filled the entire Zhangtai Palace, and an invisible pressure enveloped the main hall of the palace. Seeing Ying Zheng's appearance, Zhao Gao and the other eunuchs holding lanterns immediately knelt down. Gai Nie. An angry expression appeared on Ying Zheng's face, which he did not expect. I rely most on trust and accompany myself through life and death. From ascending the throne to unifying the six kingdoms, I am regarded as one of my confidants, Gai Nie. Descendants of Gigu. The great Qin sword saint who was personally appointed by oneself. Surprisingly, I defected. At this moment, Ying Zheng's heart had already erupted with uncontrollable anger. And the anger of this eternal emperor needs the baptism of endless blood to be quelled. The officials of civil and military affairs will hold a meeting at the Qilin Hall in 15 minutes' time. Those who are late will be punished with a car crack. Ding, it has been detected that the Great Qin Sword Saint Gai Nie has defected and is currently heading towards the direction of Canua Valley, causing a decline in the fortune of the Great Qin country. Task release. Please step out of the Forbidden Palace and rush to the Canua Valley to choose to kill or subdue the Sword Saint Gane. Please ask the host to choose whether to accept the task. Upon hearing the sound of the system, Ying Ziye's face, who was in the Forbidden City, couldn't help but become cold and stern. Has this day finally come? Gai Nie, a descendant of Gigu, was personally conferred the title of Imperial Sword Saint by his father Emperor Ying Zheng. Holding the second-ranked Yuanhong sword in the world's famous sword manual, his strength has even reached the terrifying realm of a great master. It can be said that Gai Nie can definitely be regarded as one of the top figures in the martial arts realm of the Great Qin Empire. And Ying Ziye also knew that the defection of the Sword Saint Gai Nie was a landmark node in the decline of the Great Qin national fortune. From then on, Zulong began his fourth eastward tour. Many neutral sects among the various schools of thought were heading towards the opposite of the Great Qin Dynasty. The peasant family Xingqi Wuquang rose up in rebellion, and the remnants of the Six Kingdoms, Xiang Yu, recaptured the old tribe and rose to power. Even Lu Ji began to develop into a sleazy person. So, whether it's for oneself or Daqin, Gai Nie, you must die. Accept the task. Gane, Wen, Cui. With a sudden thought, Gane Wencui and the other three appeared behind Ying Ziye. And Ying Ziye has already integrated the bull talisman representing power and the rabbit talisman representing super speed. Gane Wencui respectfully opened the gate of the Forbidden City, and Ying Ziye stepped out with one step. The demonic aura belonging to the Holy Lord erupted in an instant. The guards guarding the Forbidden City looked extremely frightened on their faces, and their hearts trembled as no one dared to stop the demon-like Ninth Prince from leaving the Forbidden City. Because at this moment they know very well. Who is blocking it? Who died? Ying Ziye turned his head to look at the forbidden palace where he had been staying for more than 10 years, and then walked out with a resolute gaze. Let him come. Protect the Great Qin for eternity. New book Seek Flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Seeking monthly tickets Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 004 Terrifying Big Shot. Gane, kneel down. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 004 Terrifying Big Shot. Gane, kneel down. Canua Valley. A perilous place surrounded by cliffs. At this moment, on the only passage in the Canua Valley, a man in white stood tall with a sword, his expression cold and indifferent, but carrying a murderous intent. And around it, there are corpses lying on the ground in red armor, almost all sealed with a sword, without any dragging mud or water. It is evident that the strength of the martial arts skills and the sword intent of the target have been meticulously crafted. Gai Nie, as the chief swordsmanship teacher of the Great Qin, is your Majesty's attendant. No matter why you defected to Daqin, today I will never let you leave the Canua Valley. Put your hands down and capture, otherwise, even with the vastness of this world, there will be no place for you to hide. Meng Tian, the leader of the 300 elite soldiers of the Qin Dynasty and a general from the Mongolian clan, said to Gai Nie. At this moment, Meng Tian was sitting on a galloping horse, wearing black and red armor and holding a silver-white cold spear. However, there was crimson blood flowing slowly on Meng Tian's left hand, indicating that he had been injured in the previous confrontation. Meng Tian looked at Gai Nie, who stood tall and had not been stained with a drop of blood in his white clothes. There was a look of shock in the eyes of those who had been on the battlefield for a long time. I didn't expect that Gane's strength would leap so quickly. Back then, before Han was destroyed by the Great Qin, the Qin regime was still controlled by the Prime Minister Lv Bui and Empress Dowager Zhao. Ying Zheng once encountered a deadly plot from within the empire on his way back from Han to Qin. That time, Meng Tian and Gai Nie fought side by side, but Meng Tian can be certain that Gai Nie's strength at that time was definitely not as terrifying as it is now. After reaching the Grandmaster's realm, there is a difference of one level in martial arts cultivation, and there may be a huge difference in strength. Under the cultivation of His Majesty and the Empire over the years, I have finally broken through to the early stage of the Grand Master. Surprisingly, I still find it so difficult to face Gai Nie. At this moment, Meng Tian felt that Gai Nie's strength was likely to have reached a more terrifying mid-stage of the Great Master. As for the higher, Meng Tian is already a bit hesitant to think further. General Meng, Gai Nie has never betrayed the Empire. Gai Nie's eyes were indifferent, without any ripples caused by Meng Tian's words. Gai Nie came from Gigu and was one of the 2 disciples of the Zhongheng sect who emerged from the mountains in this lifetime. He once helped the state of Qin unify the world because he shared the same ideals as Ying Zheng. But now, Gai Nie realized that the Qin state at this moment was different from his ideal Qin state. The most terrifying thing is that this vast empire only exists because of Ying Zheng alone. Ying Zheng's empire survives. Ying Zheng dies, the empire dies. And Ying Zheng seems to have inevitably embarked on the path of pursuing longevity due to the rise and fall of life. Longevity. Does it really exist? Gai Nie didn't know, but in his opinion, longevity was just a ridiculous excuse. And in the past, he promised a friend something, but now, in order to fulfill his promise, Gai Nie has decided to leave Daqin. Even if it's something you have to accomplish on your own. It may accelerate the downfall of this unified empire. Foolish, Gai Nie, since you are determined to go your own way, attempting to confront the most elite ace of the empire, the Golden Fire Cavalry. So, General, I can only capture you back to Xianyang. Alternatively, bring back your body. Meng Tian waved his spear horizontally and said to Gai Nie. Meng Tian is also the decisive master of killing and attacking. He knows that no matter how much he says to Gai Nie at this moment, it is useless. And Meng Tian also knew that relying solely on his 300 golden fire cavalry might not be a match for the swordsman in front of him. However, Meng Tian did not hesitate at all and decisively launched another attack on Gai Nie. Because Golden Fire Cavalry, the absolute elite of the Qin Empire. As a soldier of the empire, His Majesty the First Emperor's command is the supreme motto. His Majesty the First Emperor ordered himself to arrest Gane, so even if he paid the price of his life, he must fulfill His Majesty's order. Golden Fire Cavalry, charge. With the order of Meng Tian, the warhorses galloped with a galloping rhythm, and yellow sand filled the sky in the Canua Valley, causing the earth to tremble. Gai Nie looked at Meng Tian and the Golden Fire Cavalry charging towards him, and couldn't help but close his eyes. When he opened it again, the eyes of this swordsman were filled with coldness. Killing intent. Shu. The unsheathed Yuanhong sword illuminated the eyes of the soldier charging forward with a cold light. Apart from the roar of the warhorse, there is no other language. Everything only happens between lightning and flint. Until the yellow sand dissipates, standing on the Crescent Valley at this moment. Surprisingly, only Meng Tian, who stood with a long spear in hand, and Gai Nie, who indifferent put the Yuanhong sword into the scabbard, remained. Looking around, above the Canua Valley were corpses, and the quietly flowing crimson blood converged into a small river, soaking some of the yellow sand at the bottom of the valley. I didn't say anything to Meng Tian anymore. Gai Nie turned around and walked towards the outside of the canyon. However, in Meng Tian's eyes, which had transformed from dullness to astonishment, even those with terrifying strength like Gai Nie had a divine sense so strong that they could sense the dynamics of the surrounding Great Master realm. At this moment, I didn't notice that several dark shadows had quietly appeared at the place where he was standing under his feet. And it's the shadow of the mid-innate realm. Black Shadow reached out his hand, ready to hold on to the moving Gane. At the same time, in the state of Gane's hindsight, in the direction of his exit from the canyon. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Shoo. Boom. The 6-foot staff flickering with blue magic energy, the swirling sword in hand, and the huge war hammer rushed towards Gane with a loud roar. It's gone, one, and Chui. Faced with the attack, Gane was also somewhat surprised, but he didn't panic too much. With one sword, the black shadow on the legs was annihilated. I dodged the damage from 3 people rushing towards the crucial point while moving my body. Feeling the strength of the newcomer, Gane was not too surprised, but a curious expression still appeared in his eyes. Because he can feel it. The internal power of Gane Wencui and these shadow warriors is a category I have never encountered before. Who are the experts from? However, next, when I saw the dense red pupils sprouting up in the canyon, as if carved out of a mold, my whole body was dressed in black, equipped with weapons such as swords, samurai swords, darts, rope hooks, claws, and clubs. Gai Nie. Stupid. What is this? Evil cultivation. 400 or 508 mid-stage warriors. What a terrifying hand. However, it was not yet time for Gane's shock and confusion to be completed. A breath carrying the aura of destruction and the demonic aura of killing flames appeared in front of Gane in an instant. The speed of the arrival is as fast as crossing the distance of time and space, and the strength is as great as the falling stars from the 9 heavens. Gai Nie's cold and indifferent gaze finally turned into shock, carrying a hint of fear. Because he found out. This divine dragon's destructive power has already locked itself in place. And he can't escape at all. I can only let it bombard me. At the same time, a ethereal voice with a chilling killing intent exploded in Gane's ear. Gai Nie, do you still want to leave after killing me, the 300 elite soldiers of the Great Qin? Give it to me, young master. Kneel down. The first day results are very important and a new book is released, which determines whether the author can continue to write. Looking for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Hope everyone supports me, kneel down and thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 005 Forbidden Prince. Strong return. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 005 Forbidden Prince. Strong return. Boom. Amidst Meng Tian's disbelief and endless bewilderment on the side. Sword Saint Gai Nie is one of the most powerful experts in the martial arts of the Great Qin Dynasty. Surprisingly, there is no resistance at all. The person who was summoned knelt down directly on the ground using only their internal power and evil flame magic energy. As for Gai Nie, his knees involuntarily bent and he knelt down on the ground, already stirring up rough waves in his heart. This speed. This kind of power. This terrifying internal power. As a swordsman, he has not felt the powerlessness of a petty person shaking a tree for many years since he broke through the realm of a great master. The last time I had such an irresistible feeling was when I was young and faced the black and white Xian Jian, the skyscraper killer, together with Xiao Zhuang. But who is this young boy in front of me? What kind of expert are you? Gai Nie remembers never seeing you before. Why did he take action to stop Gai Nie from leaving? Gai Nie said to Ying Ziye, to be honest, as he watched the sudden emergence of the black shadow core in the Canua Valley, Gai Nie had some worries in his heart. He could clearly feel the dark aura carried by these members of the shadow core and the demonic aura they carried that had never appeared in this world. After much thought, Gai Nie thought that these people might be the evil cultivators mentioned to him by his master. 400 or 500 evil cultivators in the mid-innate realm. Such an appearance before his own eyes had already reached an indescribable level of shock in Gai Nie's heart. Ha, Gai Nie, you really don't remember this young master. That's right, my young master has been living in the Forbidden Palace for over 10 years. I'm afraid even the people of this world have forgotten about the Great Qin and a forbidden prince who has never been born. Upon hearing Ying Ziye's words, Meng Tian stood on the side, covered in injuries. He couldn't help but clench his long spear tightly, and his tiger's eyes widened. What? Is this the 9th prince? Meng Tian naturally knew about Ying Ziye, and it can be said that Ying Ziye was a knot in the heart of His Majesty the First Emperor. When His Majesty was young, he was a hostage in the state of Zhao and suffered from the bullying of the royal family and some aristocratic children at that time. During that darkest period, His Majesty fell in love with a Han girl named Donger, who was the mother consort of the 9th prince. However, due to difficult childbirth, Empress Dowager left behind a mother and twin with Princess Ying Man for Ying Zheng, and then passed away. Unfortunately, the terrifying demon vision and green skin appeared on the 9th prince again. In this era, the emergence of the 9th prince was definitely a presence that was criticized and attacked by the people of the world. Meng Tian knew that at that time, the power was not very stable. His Majesty, the first emperor, searched for famous doctors in hundreds of schools to diagnose the 9th prince, but failed. He resisted pressure from all sides before sending Ying Ziye to the Forbidden City. From then on, the 9th prince became a taboo in the Great Qin Dynasty. As the commander of the Golden Fire Cavalry, he led a large army of 300,000 to stationed at the border of the Great Wall for a long time and was the lord of the northern border of the Great Qin. Meng Tian is often not in the Xianyang royal city, so he is not very clear about the matter of the 9th prince Ying Ziye. Unexpectedly, the man in front of me, full of royal prestige, cold and aloof yet carrying a dark killing intent, was the 9th prince of the Great Qin. What, you are the 9th prince? Gai Nie heard Ying Ziye's words and a look of shock appeared in his eyes. He naturally knows the existence of Ying Ziye, but isn't that just a useless prince imprisoned in a palace? Also, what about the green demonic scales on the legendary prince's body? Alright, Gai Nie, I don't want to say much to you, since you have chosen to defect to Daqin. So today, my prince will use your blood to pay homage to the 300 elite soldiers who died under your sword in the Great Qin Dynasty. Ying Ziye no longer spoke to Gai Nie. A fierce red color appeared in his blood-colored pupils, and a demonic flame that could burn everything appeared around him. Nature is the fire demon flame from the Holy Lord, which is one of the most powerful skills of the Holy Lord. Ying Ziye knew that in the face of the turbulent Qin dynasty today, he absolutely couldn't let Gai Nie leave the Canua Valley. The betrayer defected unharmed, which was already a shame to the empire. However, due to the limitations of the host's strength, Don Wencui has only reached the mid-stage of the master, and the 500 ninja group is the innate mid-stage. These are undoubtedly a terrifying force that crushes everything when placed outside. Even facing the middle or even higher cultivation level of the Grand Master, Gane is one of the pinnacle powerhouses in this world. 3 masters and 500 innate powerhouses can definitely rely on chariot battles and numerical advantages to entangle and kill them. But this time, Ying Ziye is ready to take action on his own. Gai Nie defected, whether it was in the halls of the Great Qin Dynasty or among the remnants of the 6 kingdoms. I believe everyone in the temple and martial arts world is now focused on the Canua Valley, waiting for the outcome of the battle between the Sword Saint and the Empire. Traveling through time, awakening the eternal Qin national fortune system, integrating the template of the fire demon Holy Lord, and absorbing the lifelong cultivation of the wind and cloud world guild leader, the white-hair Xiongba. In the middle stage of becoming a great master, one's strength has risen and he has also obtained countless treasures and techniques. So, Ying Ziye needs someone to prove his strength, and undoubtedly, the Sword Saint Gai Nie is a good opponent. Looking deeper, the Sword Saint has defected, while the members of the Yuanhong family of the national religion also have ulterior motives. The imperial killer trap has been taken over by the traitor Zhao, and other anti-Qin forces are eyeing it. Nowadays, the Great Qin Dynasty is plagued by demons and monsters, and there is an urgent need for absolute strength to sit down and intimidate all sides. As the child of the Ancestral Dragon Ying Zheng, I have been silent in the Forbidden Palace for over 10 years. So, today, with the power of the Demon Lord, with the defeat and blood of the Sword Saint Gai Nie, announce to the world. Forbidden Prince. Strong return. Begging for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Request monthly ticket Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 006, Town Sword Saint. Broken Yuanhong. The 9th Prince is a demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 006, Sword Saint Yuanhong, is the 9th Prince a demonic reincarnation. I heard that Ying Ziye was going to use his own blood to pay tribute to the 300 killed Qin warriors. Gai Nie's face showed a look of humiliation and unwillingness. Although Ying Ziye exudes an unfathomable aura of oppression and demons, it is like a foolish dream to suppress himself solely by relying on one person. As a descendant of Gigu, he is a sword saint who inherits the art of vertical swords. Gai Nie has his own pride, and he cannot tolerate being insulted like this. Who? In Gai Nie's body, the technique of Gigu Tuna quietly began to operate. Faced with the almost substantial pressure from Ying Ziye, this swordsman is currently making his final attempt and effort. As Gai Nie gradually transmitted his internal power into the abyssal rainbow sword inserted into the yellow sand in the valley. This sword was personally gifted by the first emperor and crafted from fragments of falling stars from the sky. It ranks second in the famous sword manual, only behind the divine weapon sharp blade of the Tianwen sword worn by the first emperor Ying Zheng. Faced with the scorching demon flames on Ying Ziye's body, a dazzling red and white aura flickered. Finally, Gai Nie exerted all his strength and his internal energy surged and converged wildly, struggling to stand up against Ying Zie's internal strength. After all, he is still the first swordsman of the empire. One of the most top-notch swords in this world. Ying Ziye felt the profound and surging internal energy breath on Gai Nie's body, and a solemn charm appeared in his eyes. Sword Qi condensed body. Grand Master's mid-term realm. This is the martial arts realm of Gai Nie today, and you can feel that Gai Nie is only one step away from breaking through the late-stage realm of the Great Master, infinitely close. Such strength is truly terrifying. However, would this be useful? Without giving Gane any time to react, Ying Ziye lifted his right hand and on top of his fist, a demon flame enveloped the Holy Lord appeared, waving his teeth and claws as if he were alive, wanting to devour and destroy everything. Seeing the scorching demonic flames on Ying Ziye's body, it was as if Gai Nie had formed the Ghost Valley Zongheng sect, which angered the lords and feared them, settled down and the world was at peace. I can't even tell what kind of martial arts this demon flame is condensed from. The cold wind blew by, and Gane's white clothes rustled with the cold wind of the canyon in the fallen moon. In an instant, all the sword intent and internal energy that surged wildly around Gai Nie's body poured into the abyssal rainbow sword Ji. Gai Nie's gaze became as sharp as a divine weapon blade. Faced with such a strong and trembling ninth prince. At this moment, Gai Nie. Only one move can be used. Only with this move, there may be a glimmer of opportunity. Gai Nie understands this very well. Oh, is this the last desperate struggle of the fat mayor shaking the big tree? Ying Ziye felt the killing and sword intent of Gai Nie. Apart from continuing to mobilize his internal strength and the Holy Lord's demon flame, Ying Ziye's originally fair skin gradually turned into a golden and bronze color. Vajra is not a bad divine skill, or a fully comprehended Vajra is not a bad divine skill, invincible, and invincible. With a movement of his mind, the bull talisman came into play, and Ying Ziye felt an endless force pouring into the already powerful body of the Holy Lord. It is precisely the top-level defense martial arts and the bull talisman representing absolute power rewarded by the system novice gift package. Ying Ziye knew that Gai Nie had learned vertical swordsmanship in Gigu. The 100-step flying sword is the highest and most deadly sword in the vertical and horizontal swordsmanship of Gigu. Known as the one-blade broken throat, 100 steps flying sword. What Gai Nie was using at this moment was what he relied on the most and was prepared to take a desperate gamble. 100-step flying sword. As Gai Nie closed his eyes, he poured all the internal energy he could mobilize into the abyssal rainbow sword. In the sky above it, the sword intent converged into a black and white ink dragon roaring wildly. Gai Nie opened his eyes, and his killing intent surged towards Ying Ziye with the dragon form. Always give way to the Holy Lord's demonic flame and internal power, accumulating sword power. Like a bowstring, the more bent it is pulled, the stronger the reflected force. It's a bit interesting. However, that's all for now. Heavenly Frost Fist. Ying Ziye watched as the 100-step flying sword rushed towards him, carrying the intent of destroying the sword. If we don't retreat but move forward, we will face each other barehanded. Boom. Gai Nie's 100-step flying sword, in the form of a dragon sword, bombarded Ying Ziye's body without any obstacles. There was no hesitation at all because Ying Ziye was the heir of the first emperor. Following closely. It's the abyssal rainbow sword that came through the smoke by Gai Nie. If there is a sound of divine metal collision coming. Boom. Yellow sand smoke swept up in the Canua Valley. Instantly cover up the figures of Ying Ziye and Gai Nie, who are all golden and wrapped in the flame of the Holy Lord. Long time. The smoke dissipated. The scene that appeared before her made Meng Tian, the lord of the northern realm who cared about his majesty's descendants but was unable to participate in the war due to injury, almost have his eyes protruding. I saw that Gai Nie's clothes were burnt, damaged and burnt yellow, and countless scars with frost and blood stains appeared eerily on his body. Puff! Gane couldn't bear it at last, and a mouthful of blood spat out from his throat. It was very brutal. Bang! Knees bent, and Gai Nie's gaze lost the confidence of the Sword Saint, becoming dim and colorless. His body stiffened and he fell to the ground with a loud crash. This Sword Saint who defected from the Empire and is a renowned descendant of Ghost Valley. Completely defeated. Has already been won by the 9th Prince of the Great Qin, Ziye. Suppression. Until now. There is an incredulous expression in both eyes. He doesn't understand. Why? There is someone in this world who can use their body to block their ultimate 100-step flying sword. Even the Yuanhong sword was unable to break through its slightest defense. It was a punch that made me lose my combat ability. A terrifying idea appeared in Gane's heart. Could it be the 9th Prince in front of me? Is it really the reincarnation of demons and monsters? Those who betray me, the Great Qin, shall be executed. Those who kill my elite soldiers will be beheaded. As the Sword Saint personally conferred by the Father, a defector, your life will be handed over to the Father for judgment by our Prince. And the Yuanhong was bestowed upon you by my father, the Emperor. You have lost your qualification to use it, and now it will be destroyed by my son. A crisp and domineering voice sounded. I saw the Yuanhong sword caught by Ying Ziye's fingers. From the middle of the sword hilt, it was directly broken in two by Ying Ziye. General Meng, don't be stunned, hold on to this traitor. Prepare to return to the palace with my prince. Upon hearing Ying Ziye's words, Meng Tian, holding a silver gun, came to Ying Ziye's side, his resolute face eroded by the war and wind. Yes. It is far from dispersing. Shocking. Step out of the forbidden city with force. Zhen Jian Sheng. Broken Yuanhong. This northern lord has a premonition. This time. The sky of Daqin. I'm afraid it's going to change. Seeking flowers, seeking evaluation tickets, seeking monthly tickets Qingming outing in happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. The wonderful use of 007 merit points. Your Majesty, the 9th Prince. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The wonderful use of 007 merit points. Your Majesty, the 9th Prince has returned. With a movement of thought, all the ninja soldiers of the Shadow Corps retreated like a tide. In the blink of an eye, Ying Ziye saw Meng Tian holding a silver gun, with a shocked and bewildered expression on his face, standing still. A hint of smile appeared on his face, as he saw the great master of the Northern Realm, who was completely loyal to the Empire. Ying Ziye was quite appreciative in her heart, and according to Yin Man, when she secretly sneaked into the Forbidden Palace, she had told herself that Meng Tian had discussed with General Wang Jian more than once and wanted to write a letter to Father Emperor to let her step out of the Forbidden Palace. Gone, one, Chui. Without further reminder to Meng Tian, Ying Ziye directly asked Gane Wencui to come forward, kneeling like a pile of mud and lifting the suffocating Gai Nie up. He also picked up the broken Yuanhong sword, which was his own spoils of war. 9th Prince, these three people. Meng Tian finally reacted and looked at the orange-skinned Gane Wencui and the other three with some doubts. He cautiously asked Ying Ziye. Oh, these three are my guards. Upon hearing Ying Ziye's casual words, Meng Tian's face once again showed a shocked expression. 3 masters. Surprisingly, he is the guard of the 9th Prince. Where did the 9th Prince receive these guards from? Or, in other words, behind the 9th Prince, is there any high-level figure or power supporting him? 508 mid-level cultivators carrying evil auras and 3 mid-level masters with strong abilities. This kind of hand pen, apart from being easily taken out by the Empire, is a physically damaging presence for other forces. Surprisingly, there is still such an unknown force in the empire that can support the ninth prince so generously. Also, the strange green scales on the body of the ninth prince back then, your majesty searched for strange people and things in the world but could not solve them. But now at this moment, countless questions and concerns have arisen in Meng Tian's heart. Everything about the ninth prince is like a mist that is hard to understand. Ding, congratulations to the host for suppressing the defector, the Great Qin Sword Saint Gai Nie. The Empire's national fortune has increased and the system mission has been successfully completed. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the task reward. Increase the fusion degree of the Fire Demon Holy Lord by 10%, Ding, congratulations to the host for receiving the gift of national transportation. Detailed design drawing of saddle and stirrup horseshoe. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining merit points. 1000, merit points. The host can exchange various heavenly techniques, weapons, spiritual pills, various heavenly and earthly treasures, as well as peerless powerful characters in the system mall with merit points. Summoning soldiers from the Shadow Corps also requires the consumption of merit points. Upon hearing the sudden prompt sound from the system, Ying Ziye was somewhat surprised. With a sudden thought, he easily found the location of the system mall. Sure enough, in the system mall, Ying Ziye saw the existence of many items, ranging from trivial items such as chili hot pot seasoning, tobacco, wine, and tea above the previous blue star, to various martial arts, weapons, natural materials, and treasures. And Ying Ziye also saw other charms besides the cow charm and the rabbit charm. The above are clearly marked with the price and the points of merit for sales. It seems that the merit points are indeed infinitely useful. System, what other methods are there to obtain merit points? Ying Ziye looked at these items and couldn't help but ask the system. If there are enough merit points to exchange, Ying Ziye has great confidence that he can advance the development of the Great Qin by decades, centuries, or even years ago. The acquisition of merit points is linked to the host and the Great Qin national fortune. The host can complete system tasks or obtain merit points by clearing all things that are unfavorable to the Great Qin national fortune, including expanding territory, eradicating remaining evils, suppressing hundreds of families, and so on. Upon hearing the system's explanation, Ying Ziye couldn't help but gain an understanding of the achievement points in his heart. The current situation of the empire is complex, and there are countless hidden worms waiting to be cleaned up. It seems that there is still a lot to do for oneself. However, that's what makes it interesting. Isn't it? Alright, General Meng Tian, let's go back to the palace with our prince. I believe that father and all the ministers are already anxious at this moment. Ying Ziye asked Wencui to carry Gai Nie and then climbed onto the warhorse in the valley. Wang Xianyang rushed away. Upon seeing this, Meng Tian quickly followed behind the ninth prince. Further shock and doubt, believe that after returning to Xianyang, there is only a possibility of unraveling it. Xianyang, Qilin Hall. Your Majesty, the scouts ahead have sent news that General Meng Tian has sat down and all 300 elite Qin soldiers have been killed by the sword of Gai Nie. A soldier knelt on the main hall and said to the first emperor, Ying Zheng, on the throne. Absurd. Gai Nie surprisingly killed 300 soldiers of the Great Qin, it's really deceiving people. Lizzie, according to your previous plan, contact Lu Sha and use poison to attack Gai Nie in Weizhuang. Wang Ben is obedient. I have ordered you to lead another 3,000 armored soldiers to assist General Meng Tian in pursuing Gai Nie and kill him at any cost. Zhao Gao, use the power of a trap to dispatch a top-notch assassin named Tianzi to attack and kill Gai Nie. Order the protector of the country, the moon god and star soul of the Yin Yang family, to dispatch experts from the Yin Yang family to assist in suppressing Gai Nie. I want the Great Qin, there will be no more Sword Saint. Let everyone know the consequences of betraying Qin. On the throne, Ying Zheng, who had never been pleased with his appearance, suddenly had a cold gaze and angrily said like a lion. No. I take orders. I will comply with the order. The officials lowered their heads in fear, fearing that the anger of the first emperor would spread to them. The Qilin palace fell into absolute silence for a moment. Report to your Majesty, the ninth prince. He and General Meng Tian have returned. Suddenly, a eunuch ran to the Qilin hall and said to Ying Zheng in a flustered and trembling voice. Upon hearing the eunuch's words, Ying Zheng's iron-green face showed a surprised expression, and the officials were a bit confused, but couldn't help but shed a cold sweat. The ninth prince. That's a taboo. Also, isn't the ninth prince in the Forbidden Palace? Is this eunuch afraid that he took the wrong medicine? You don't want to talk nonsense about this. And now, whether it is in the court or discussing the solemn matter of Gai Nie's defection. Everyone was sweating for this eunuch. Sure enough, seeing the eunuch's appearance, Ying Zheng's face instantly became gloomy again. He instinctively thought that the eunuch had mistaken the wrong person and was living in a forbidden palace at midnight. How could Meng Tian come back together? Seeing Ying Zheng's face, the kneeling eunuch lowered his head and shook his body, leaving a cold sweat on his cheeks. A trembling voice came out. Your Majesty. Your Majesty. The villain didn't admit his mistake. General Meng said that he was the ninth prince. Moreover, the ninth prince. He came carrying the body of Gai Nie. Begging for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Looking for a monthly pass. Thank you for your support Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 008 Ying Zheng was pleased, the officials were shocked, and made the ninth prince. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The joy of Ying Zheng, the shock of the officials, made the ninth prince supervise the country. Boom. Now, upon hearing the eunuch's words, the once silent court suddenly became noisy. And the first emperor, Ying Zheng. At this moment, a surprised expression appeared on his face, which was never overjoyed. Did midnight really come with Meng Tian? In recent years, in order to prevent malicious individuals from infiltrating the Forbidden City and harming midnight in the name of eliminating demons and guarding the way, I have dispatched several guards with good martial arts skills to guard around the Forbidden Palace. In addition to some teachers arranged by herself to teach midnight practice and literacy, Yin Man, the little girl, often sneaks into the Forbidden Palace to visit her mother's brother. Ying Zheng knew all of this and instructed the guards to turn a blind eye. But at this moment, it was said that he and Meng Tian returned to the Xianying Palace together at midnight. The most outrageous thing is to say that this emperor came back with Gai Nie. At this moment, Ying Zheng had already stood up from the throne. His majestic gaze turned towards the gate of the Qilin Hall. It seems that nervousness and anticipation. Seeing your Majesty like this. The noisy court suddenly regained its silence. Li Si, Wang Jian, Feng Puji, Wang Ben, Zhao Gao, all civil and military officials turned their gaze to the entrance of the main hall. Finally, amidst the soft glow of the morning light, a figure carved like jade first caught everyone's eye. Hair is like ink, sword eyebrows are straight, eerie blood-colored pupils contain sharpness, thin and lightly pursed lips, sharp and angular contours, and a slender yet not rough figure. Like an eagle in the dark night, cold and proud, yet majestic and imposing, exuding a strong sense of arrogance over heaven and earth. It was Ying Ziye. This is also the most satisfying aspect of Ying Ziye's journey through time, as her appearance remains as handsome as ever in her past life. At this moment, Ying Ziye had already entered the main hall, followed closely by Meng Tian, who was dressed in armor and had an aura of iron and blood. Father, son, I'm back. This is Gai Nie, the sword saint who defected to the Great Qin. He has been suppressed by his courtiers and is now being handed over to his father to handle. Ying Ziye threw Gai Nie directly onto the main hall. Boom. Seeing the scars and lifeless appearance on Gai Nie's body, everyone's mind felt as if they had been struck by a heavy hammer. With their mouths open, their faces were shocked, and their eyes couldn't believe it. Okay. 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 Ying Zheng's dignified gaze was completely focused on Ying Ziye, and he cheered 4 times in a row. A slight wetness appeared in the eyes that had been left with a few old wrinkles by time. This is his child with Dong'er, the heir of his Ying Zheng, the brother of Yin Man, and even the 9th prince of the Great Qin. Now, although I don't know why the terrifying green scales on Midnight's body disappeared, I also don't know why Midnight was able to suppress Gane. However, in the heart of Zulong Ying Zheng, all of this is not so important. He is Ying Zheng, the master of this vast empire, and the most esteemed emperor in the world. But he is also a father. At this moment, I saw my son returning to normal and so forcefully suppressing the defector Gai Nie and bringing him back to Daqin. Ying Zheng's heart is comforting and proud. On the other hand, the courtiers of the Great Qin Dynasty, whether they were the backbone of the army, Wang Jian, Wang Ben, father and son, or the head of the civil service, Li Sifeng Qiuji, were both shocked and full of thoughts. As for Zhao Gao, who had a black and red skin, a high hat on his head, and a gloomy face, his eerie pupils were spinning. Gai Nie surprisingly lost. Zhao Gao could feel that there was no trace of internal power left in Gai Nie's body, and his breath was extremely chaotic. It was obvious that he had been severely injured. And all of this. Surprisingly, it was caused by Ying Ziye, the forbidden prince who suddenly stepped out of the forbidden palace. Meng Tian cannot be a match for Gai Nie. Zhao Gao is convinced of this. So, who could have cured Ying Ziye and still supported this prince behind his back? If it were to say that Gai Nie was personally defeated and suppressed by Ying Ziye, he would not believe Zhao Gao even if he was killed. At this moment, Zhao Gao has already assumed that there are high-level people behind the scenes supporting this prince. Will all of this have an impact on one's own plans? Zhao Gao's gaze quietly turned to Hu Hai, who was standing in front of the royal queue, with his mouth wide open capable of stuffing an egg. Then, without leaving a trace, he glanced at the equally shocking but ceremonial eldest son Fusu. At a crucial juncture when Ying Zheng was about to embark on his 4th eastward tour, he finally made many plans and preparations to give Hu Hai and Fusu the opportunity to compete and supervise the country. I also hope that Ying Ziye won't affect it. Otherwise Zhao Gao's sinister gaze disappeared, and then he pretended to look at Ying Ziye with a kind and caring expression. Year, your body. At this moment, Ying Zheng had already stepped down from the throne and arrived in front of Ying Ziye. Looking at his son in surprise, his fair skin was clearly no different from an ordinary person. Fortunately, with the favor of my father's imperial power, my son's body has completely returned to normal. Ying Ziye said to Ying Zheng. What is this, Gai Nie? Ying Zheng looked at Gai Nie, who was lying in the hall, covered in a miserable outfit, but there was not much unusual in his eyes. Then his gaze turned to Meng Tian, as if he was trying to confirm something. From the moment Gai Nie defected and killed 300 elite soldiers of the Great Qin. In Ying Zheng's heart, Gai Nie. He is already a dead person. At this moment, Ying Zheng was just surprised that no one could harm Gai Nie like this. Your Majesty, it is true that Gai Nie was easily defeated and suppressed by His Highness the 9th Prince. If His Highness came later, I may have been killed by Gai Nie. If your Majesty does not believe it, this is His Highness broken Gai Nie paired sword. As Gai Nie spoke, he suddenly took out 2 burnt and somewhat burnt broken swords. Is it broken or can you vaguely see the words Yuanhong engraved on it? Upon hearing Meng Tian's words and looking at the 2 broken swords, not to mention the civil and military officials, even Ying Zheng was bewildered. However, after only a moment of hesitation, Ying Zheng's next words caught everyone off guard and left them in shock. Ha ha ha, color. I hereby order that the 9th Prince Ying Ziye suppress the defector Gai Nie of the Great Qin, deter the remaining sins of other ethnic groups, and promote the power of our great Qin country. I will soon patrol the world to the east, inspecting the mountains and rivers of our great Qin. However, the country cannot be without a master for a day. Therefore, Prince Su has the power to oversee the country and bestows upon me a sword to accompany Tianwen. When I see Prince Zhao personally, if there is any disrespect, I can execute him first and report later. Begging for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Looking for a monthly pass. Seeking everything Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 009 Confucian Scholars. I just object to it and you will. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 009 Confucianists. I just oppose it and you want to chop off my head. What? Well, this is too hasty. Yes, the ninth prince has been isolated from the world for many years and may not be very clear about many things in the empire. Your Majesty, it's not possible. Your Majesty, overseeing the country is a big deal. Upon hearing Ying Zheng's words, the civil and military officials above the main hall suddenly became alarmed. Most civil officials turned their gaze to the left Prime Minister Li Si and the right Prime Minister Feng Quji, while the generals turned their gaze to Wang Jian and Meng Tian. The meaning conveyed by these gazes is to hope that a few people can persuade His Majesty the First Emperor not to hastily let the ninth Prince Ying Ziye supervise the country. As for Zhao Gao, he was taken aback after hearing Ying Zheng's words. The pretended kindness and joy on his face instantly returned to a sinister and icy appearance. You should know that overseeing a country is actually equivalent to having the status of a crown prince and temporarily possessing the power of an emperor. It can also be said that supervising the country is one of the most important assessments before choosing a crown prince. During Ying Zheng's first 3 eastward patrols, the eldest son Fu Su was in charge of the country twice, while Hu Hai, whom he supported, only received 1 opportunity. But it was only once that Hu Hai, who was easily controlled by others, acted as a puppet enjoying wine and sex. Zhao Gao and the net took the opportunity to climb and rise, and they also planted many eyeliner in the court. So, this time, when he learned that Ying Zheng was planning to launch the 4th Eastern Expedition, Zhao Gao spoke a lot of good words about Hu Hai in his ear, and even drew on Li Si to indirectly attack. I thought it was not a guaranteed outcome, but it was also quite certain that Hu Hai would successfully obtain the right to govern the country. Unexpectedly, Ying Zheng allowed the 9th prince, who had been killed halfway, to oversee the country. At this moment, Hu Hai's face also showed an anxious expression, looking at Zhao Gao. Although Zhao Gao was angry in his heart, his face remained calm. Hu Hai was anxious, but Zhao Gao was not too anxious. Because he knows that there will always be people jumping out. Let a prince who has no qualifications at all, even before today, is still a taboo prince, come to oversee the country. Someone will always come forward to oppose it. Zhao Gao is an old Yin Bai. If you don't see him, Li Sifeng, Wang Jian, and others haven't made any moves yet. Your Majesty, Confucianism emphasizes the order of elders and young, with a reasonable sense of hierarchy. Since ancient times, those who oversee the country have always given priority to their legitimate elders. Jiu Gongzi bears the burden of the heavenly family, his illness fades away, and he even unleashes his divine power to suppress defectors. He has a natural talent, but Jiu Gongzi has not participated in national affairs for many years, so he may not be able to shoulder the responsibility of supervising the country. And the eldest son, Fu Su, possesses both virtue and talent, which is admirable. He has had experience in supervising the country twice, so I believe that Fu Su should be the person in charge of this supervision. Sure enough, before Zhao Gao, Li Si, and others could express their opinions, someone stood up and admonished Ying Zheng. The speaker was an old man, a Confucian scholar named Chunyu, who was also one of the teachers and supporters of Fusu. In recent years, Fusu has been fond of the Confucian doctrine of benevolence and love, and has even built a Confucian Sage Hall in his own residence, which aims to cultivate a group of knowledgeable scholars for the Great Qin Dynasty and use benevolence to influence the remaining sins of the Six Kingdoms. However, it is such a Confucian Sage Hall that both Xuanzi, the leader of contemporary Confucianism, and Fu Nianyanlu, the leader of Confucianism, are unwilling to join, which is related to Zhang Liang, the third leader of Confucianism. Even discerning people can tell which Confucian scholars under the Fu Su mansion are full of benevolence, righteousness, morality, and the five virtues. I'm afraid it's just a verbal support for Fushu. If something really happens, those grandsons may run faster and faster one by one. As for the remnants of the Six Kingdoms and the anti-Qin forces, there is no one who is constantly thinking of overthrowing the Great Qin and restoring the country. Use kindness to influence these rebellious individuals. It affects Nima's fried dough twists. Chunyu Yu's words seem reasonable and well-founded. But after analysis, I think the ninth prince is a waste without talent, and it is still suitable for Fushu to supervise the country. Such words are somewhat murderous. Yeah, even if Jiu Gongzi suppressed Gai Nie, after all, he hasn't been involved in government affairs for many years, so he probably knows nothing about these things. I would like to suggest that Your Majesty think twice. I also agree, and I hope Your Majesty can accept your order and re-establish the prince of the imperial household. For a while, many ministers were advising Ying Zheng to withdraw his orders. If you observe carefully, you will find that only a small number of these people are sincere. Most of them have already chosen officials from the Fu Su or Hu Hai camps on the issue of establishing a crown prince, and there are many Confucian scholars. Ying Zheng solemnly scanned these people, and his sharp gaze seemed to have already seen through everyone in front of him. I am preparing to go on a tour to the east in order to inspect the rivers and mountains of Daqin, demonstrate its prestige, and deter the remaining evils of the Six Kingdoms and the 100 schools of thought, so that Daqin can live in peace. But in Ying Zheng's heart, whether it was Fu Su or Hu Hai, one is too benevolent and corrupt, and the other is too stubborn and unbearable. They are not the heirs they truly want, which has been confirmed in the previous 3 rounds of supervision. However, just now when Meng Tian said that Gai Nie was suppressing at midnight, Ying Zheng carefully gazed at Meng Tian's eyes, and surprisingly, he saw admiration in Meng Tian's eyes, even with a slight fear in it. Who is Meng Tian? He holds the most elite trump card of the Great Qin Dynasty and is the master of the northern region with 300,000 golden fire cavalry. What makes Meng Tian have such a respectful attitude towards Yi? What forces are manipulating it? Or could it be that there is a mysterious expert behind Midnight helping? And, do these people really treat Midnight as if they haven't learned anything in the Forbidden City for years? You should know that I am a teacher who quietly arranged martial arts and knowledge for Midnight. Among them, some ideas about governing the country spread from the mouth of Midnight, but they have benefited me greatly and I feel shocked. So, under comprehensive balance, Ying Zheng made the decision to let Ying Ziye supervise the country. This is giving Midnight an opportunity, and perhaps also a hint of comfort for Dong'er's spirit in heaven. However, some people dare to oppose it, and it is still these corrupt scholars who give the excellent talent of Fusu to crooked teachings. Ying Zheng's gaze gradually became cold. Father, Great Qin is the empire of our Ying family. Your command is the supreme decree. That's why I am willing to serve as the supervisor of the country. But at this moment, there are people who dare to openly oppose my father's imperial decree, according to the laws and regulations of the Great Qin Dynasty. Slay it. Ying Ziye's emotions did not fluctuate at all. Just his words instantly made his face hypocritical, as if everything he said was for the sake of the Chunyu of the Great Qin and the Confucian scholars who agreed with him. Blow it up. Begging for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Looking for a monthly pass. Seeking everything Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 010 Father, do you no longer love me? Damn stinky and rotten scholar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 010 Father, do you no longer love me? Damn stinky and rotten scholar. Upon hearing Ying Ziye's murderous words, a satisfied expression appeared in Ying Zheng's originally domineering and cold eyes. Yes, the Qin is the empire of his Ying family. Establish a country with the law, wield the sword of the emperor, and use military achievements and titles to forcefully conquer and annihilate the six kingdoms. The path taken by Qin has never been a path of mediocrity and benevolence. Now it is even more necessary to have a brave and decisive eunuch in charge of killing and attacking the country. Feilu is too corrupt, and Hu Hai is too incompetent. But Midnight surprisingly spoke such domineering words at the first moment, wanting to execute those who were opposed by these sour and stinky Confucian scholars. This indeed aligns with Ying Zheng's intentions. In an instant, Ying Zheng felt that letting the Midnight Watch be the right choice. Absurdity, it's really absurd. We're just opposing it, and we're going to behead and kill us. If that's the case, the Qin might make people all over the world laugh. However, Chunyu still looked like a dead pig not afraid of boiling water and jumped out and said. Blowing his beard and staring angrily at Ying Ziye, he said. Who is he? Young Master Feilu's teacher, the top scholar in the Confucian sage hall under his mansion, even Feilu has to show respect to him. Moreover, in the eyes of Chunyu, Feilu was a perfect tool, a thigh for the rise of Confucianism, and a living cash cow. If the young master were to assist the Soviet Union in overseeing the country, the ancient feudal system that he had always wanted to restore would provide another opportunity for promotion. But the yellow-mouthed child in front of him was so quick to say he wanted to kill himself, and Chunyu's mentality exploded instantly. Seeing Chunyu somewhat dependent on his old age, Ying Zheng's eyes became even colder. Is this because he thinks that Ying Zheng can't use the knife anymore? However, the emperor's temperament did not make Ying Zheng angry immediately. Since he had the intention to cultivate Midnight, there were some things that his descendants should decide. Kill or cut, first give the power to supervise the country. My decision has been made. For this eastward tour, General Hu Ben, Wang Ben, will lead 100 battles of armored soldiers to protect us. Li Yu, the son of Li Si, will accompany me on the tour. During my tour, at midnight, I will be the young emperor of the Great Qin, in charge of overseeing the imperial power of the country. If there is any disrespect, you can execute it first and report it later. Midnight, take the sword. Ying Zheng directly took off the sword Tianwen from his waist and handed it to Ying Ziye. Tianwen's sword is a peerless sword that ranks first in the Imperial Sword Manual, surpassing the Sword Saint Gai Nie's Yuanhong by 1 rank. One important reason for this is that the Tianwen sword represents the most supreme power of the Great Qin, imperial power. The Tianwen sword can only be personally held by emperors. At this moment, Ying Zheng surprisingly handed over the Tianwen sword to Ying Ziye, which is enough to demonstrate his value for Ying Ziye. I will not disappoint my father's expectations when I take the sword, and I will supervise the country and the world. Ying Ziye held the Tianwen sword in his hand, and at this moment he could feel the weight contained in this sword of the emperor. But this is exactly what Ying Ziye needs. I have awakened the transportation system of the Qin Dynasty for generations and integrated the Fire Demon Lord. It should be noted that the former lord ruled over an era in ancient times. So, we need to enhance the national fortune of the Great Qin and enhance the integration of the Holy Lord. Becoming the junior emperor of the state is the most suitable way. Hu Hai saw his father handing the Tianwen sword to Ying Ziye, and his entire face twisted with jealousy. The last time he was in charge of the country, relying on his father's favor, Hu Hai boldly asked his father for the Heaven Quest sword. As a result, Ying Zheng directly pulled out Tianwen and gave himself 2 big boards with a sword scabbard. Since then, Hu Hai has never had this idea again. Unexpectedly, Father Emperor gave it to 9 brother. Hu Hai was both jealous and angry in his heart. Father, Is this not loving oneself anymore? Fu Shu's expression was also somewhat off. When he was in charge of the country, he also did not receive the Tianwen sword. However, Fu Shu is still good at concealing his emotions and has not taken any action. He was just a little worried about whether Jiu Di could take on the heavy responsibility of supervising the country well. After all, Fu Shu still hoped that the Great Qin would get better and better. It was just a crooked path. All faces have different expressions. Your Majesty, I, Li Si, Wang Jian, pay my respects to the young emperor of the country. Surprisingly, in the end, it was Wang Jian and Li Si who immediately knelt down and said to Ying Zheng and Ying Ziye. No one hesitated when they saw the actions of the two civil and military leaders, Li Si and Wang Jian. We will see the young emperor of the country. Everyone, including Zhao Gao and Chun Yu, knelt down. They were dissatisfied and had iron heads, but under this situation, while Ying Zheng was still in court, no one dared to say anything. Seeing this appearance, Ying Zheng finally showed a satisfied expression. As for Li Si Wang Jian, from the moment when His Majesty the First Emperor chose to have their heir Li Yuang Ben accompany them on the Eastern Patrol, the two already know how to choose. Okay, as for Gai Nie, it's midnight and you brought it back. I'll hand it over to you for disposal. Ying Zheng glanced at Gai Nie, who was gasping for breath and uncertain about his life and death in the main hall, with no trace of personal emotion in his eyes. Speak to Ying Ziye. Yes. Ying Ziye takes orders. Let's retreat. After Ying Zheng finished speaking, he turned around and left the Qilin Palace, heading towards Zhangtai Palace. Ying Ziye watched as the officials left one by one, while the blood-stained pupils scanned the bodies of Zhao Gaohu, Fu Su, Li Si, Wang Jian, and others. In the end, Ying Ziye looked at Chun Yu, who had a slightly disdainful expression and left in anger. Nima's old thing, it was just the emperor who gave this step. Now that I am in charge of the country, I will definitely have you, the stinky and corrupt scholars who harm the country and the people, feel good. Begging for flowers. Seeking evaluation votes. Looking for a monthly pass. Seeking everything Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.